Hi, this is Kenti Kan. My guest today is a distinguished accounting and finance professional. She is a board member of the AICPA and a council member of CIMA, and was named as one of the 25 most powerful women in accounting. The Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, CIMA, and the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, AICPA, form the world's largest and most influential membership body for public and management accountants and finance professionals. Lindsay Stevenson is also an author and public speaker and has a passion for developing strategies to transform today's firm into the firm of the future. It's a real pleasure to bid Lindsay Stevenson a warm ATN welcome. We're glad you're here, Lindsay.
Thank you so much, Kenti. I'm honored to be sharing the stage with you today.
Well, very kind of you. You know, over the years, we have had several CIMA global presidents come to us here in this studio for interviews. But they have come mostly from the UK. This is the first time that we've had someone like yourself, a board member of the AICPA and a council member of CIMA, come to visit us. And so what's really interesting about all of that is you don't come from overseas. You come from right here. You are our friend and neighbor. You come from the USA. So that's very special. Now, you were recently given the accolade of one of the 25 most powerful women in accounting. And now you're here, almost a couple of weeks after, in Toronto, in Canada. You've been here before, to Canada. I don't know that you've been to Toronto many times, but from America over here, you can take a cycle and ride across. But why come to Toronto at this time? What brings you here?
So I'm excited to be in Toronto. As you mentioned, I've been to Canada before, but always in the British Columbia area, close to where I grew up. And so getting to come to Toronto is an opportunity for me to meet our CIMA members here in CIMA Canada. And it's been a really great experience to spend time with them. And that was my sole purpose, was getting to spend time with our CIMA members here and learning more about what's top of mind for them in this market, what matters most to them, and then sharing some things that CIMA has going on globally.
Well, good stuff. We're honored then that you can make it just to chat with our CIMA boys. But before we get into to more discussion on these matters, take a minute then, please, and talk to us about the connection between CIMA. A lot of our visitors may think CIMA is a word, but it's an acronym, CIMA, CIMA and the AICPA, and where you fit into all this. Give us the connection.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a long and glorious history, right? Because CIMA Canada has been around for 52 years now, which is exciting. And the AICPA has been around, I think we're at 90 some odd years, or maybe it's 100 now. And so what's been interesting is maybe 10, 15 years ago, we started having discussions about the impact of accounting and finance from a global perspective. And really, CIMA was doing that from a management accounting perspective, and AICPA was doing that from a public accounting perspective. And some minds met in the middle and said, aren't we just one profession? It's accounting and finance, right? So we may be doing different things. We may be interacting with the economies in different ways, but we're really one body. And so the AICPA and CIMA were able to connect and discuss that and sort of navigate a path forward. And in 2016, I think is the right year, the association was born. And it was intended to be the beginnings of a joint venture between CIMA and AICPA to really become the largest, most influential accounting body in the world. And they've accomplished that. And we have 597,000 members worldwide in 188 countries. So it's really become an impactful organization for the betterment of the accounting and finance profession.
Well, later on, I'll ask you to tell me about how it betters the profession.
Sure.
But for now, and you did say it just not very long ago, meeting with the CIMA members in Toronto. Well, give us a little bit more of what did they plan for you? What did you have in store? And now that, in addition to everything else, Toronto is a great city. What have you seen in addition to having meetings and stuff? Give us some of the things that you might have done.
Yeah, so highlights. First, I'll say Toronto is one of the cleanest cities that I've had the opportunity to visit. So I've been to New York a number of times. I'm not knocking New York, but very clean here in Toronto, which is exciting. And I was able to spend some time with the members at a member event. We had some drinks, we had some food. We were able to network and discuss what's important, what's going on for them. But the highlight was actually another speaker at the event who came in and was talking about ESG and the importance and the impact on the accounting and finance profession and what role we play as we move forward and talk about sustainability, both in business and in communities.
So meetings, but you also had a chance to see the place, and you're thoroughly impressed with our city. Well, that's very good. So now you can get back to South Dakota, Washington State, and tell them good things about our city. At the start of your career, you were awarded the Outstanding Young CPA Member Award. And that wasn't too long ago, because now in later years, and you were the Outstanding Young CPA Member, and I dare say you're still young, and now you've been elected one of the 25 most powerful women in accounting and finance. How do you feel about that award?
Well, you're always humbled to be included on a list with women and young accountants who are doing amazing things, and there's always imposter syndrome related to that. So I've definitely felt that some days where I think there's so many incredible people doing so many incredible things. I think the coolest part when you start getting recognized for something, or you get an award for something like that, you really start thinking about your community and how you ended up even being considered or even making the list of nominees. And that's, at least in my case, been really, really driven by the really amazing people that are around me. I have incredible mentors, incredible sponsors, incredible advocates. The people that I work with at my firm are incredibly supportive. They let me come and do things like this, right? This is not tech paid work related, to visit Toronto, but it's totally supported and encouraged. And that's really inspiring. So
you're at the top of your profession right now. I mean, and still you got ways to go. How did you prepare yourself for this?
That's a great question. There's really no prep involved. I feel like it's a little bit of a controlled, chaotic ride as you journey through your career. But I think I had an incredible mom. She was a single mom. Taught me how to be resilient. Taught me how to push forward even when I don't know if I can do it and if I can make it through. And then now I've got my own family, my husband and my 3 boys, and always pushing me, you can do it, Mom. You can do it, honey. You can take the next step. You can do this crazy thing. And so I've just been very fortunate to have amazing people kind of along the sidelines.
Yes, just helped me a lot. Does it, I from just talking to you, I think I know the answer, but does it make you feel that you always have to be right on top of your game, having gotten this title and so on?
I think I did when I got the young CPA thing. I felt like there was a lot of pressure with that of how do you show up and are you professional and all the ways that you show up, and everyone's looking at you and they're holding you to this standard. Now I feel like I've been on the journey long enough to recognize that, and actually part of my role at the firm is all about failure and failing well so that we can succeed quickly. And so, no, I don't now feel like there's all this pressure to show up in a certain way. It's really the more uniquely me I am, the more opportunities I see available to me. So if I can lean into that, it seems like my career continues to grow and be really awesome because I'm willing to just be me.
Good stuff. Just to me, this kind of rolling around in my mind, let me get this out of the way. CIMA and the AICPA, people tend to think, or is it right, or comment on it, one is based and one is American based. What is the truth or not to that?
That's a great question. So as individual bodies, the AICPA is still the American Institute of CPAs, so very American based, and CIMA is still the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, which really grew out of the UK but is global. But the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants are both of those bodies together, and the intent is to eliminate borders. We really want to be seen as a global profession and serving global members in their unique regions. And so my hope is that we are continuing to build that better so that people see the association as really the accounting body globally that supports all accountants, no matter where they live, no matter where they work.
I'm with my guest, Lindsay Stevenson, and Lindsay is an accounting and finance professional and was recently given the accolade as one of the 25 most powerful women in accounting. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back with my guest, Lindsay Stevenson. Lindsay, just before the break, we were talking about CIMA, whether we consider it to be UK and the AICP American.
Okay.
With the association, now as you refer to, the combination of CIMA and the American Association, is the designation, the new AICPA designation, is it conferred upon a member automatically if they're a member of CIMA or a member of the American Institute, or you have to do something to become a member?
No, so if you're a member of CIMA or the AICPA, you are also a member of the association.
Or you're automatically a member?
Yep. So we're all members of the association by right.
Okay, and so what designation is used, if any?
It's not really a designation. The membership at the association level is really intended to be a place for resources, tools, insights, connections within the profession. And so the intent is not necessarily a certification or a designation or a licensure related to the association body. It's more a place for you as a professional to continue to thrive and develop.
So then, how does it work if you're a board member of the AICPA and a member of the Council of CIMA? How you're doing two different things?
Yeah, so I'm a board member of the association. So my role as a board member is the global stage and what decisions we're making as an organization to support the global profession. My role on CIMA Council is very directly related to things that our global members in management accounting are focused on. So not the catch-all, public, management, any kind of accounting you can think of. It's really focused on the management accounting aspect of our profession.
In your everyday life, when you're not functioning as a board member or a member of council, you are the Chief Transformation Officer of BPM, one of the 35 largest public accounting firms in the U.S. What does a Chief Transformation Officer do? I mean, I can sit here and just go with the natural meaning of the word transformation. That is, you bring about transformation, but it also says you drive innovation there. Tell me a little bit about the Chief Transformation Officer.
Yeah, it's been a journey. So the role didn't exist 3 years ago. I worked with the CEO and our board of directors to write a job description for that role and really navigate what we wanted it to look like and how I would deliver on that. And it's constantly evolving. So I will tell you that the role 3 years ago may have been written differently than what is actually occurring on a day-to-day basis. But essentially, I really am focusing my time and energy and the energy and time of my team on things like process improvement, things like change management, things like project management. We have a team that's working on data intelligence. And so really a broad spectrum of ways in which we can transform the way we do business. So it's really become this really broad scope around what does the firm of the future look like to fit into the profession of the future. Really, it's more directed toward the profession. So things that we figure out as a firm to either be innovative or more effective or more efficient, then we really like to share that out into the marketplace with other firms. So our intent is to lift up the profession. Well, we're working on some change management structure. So we have a firm that we're really friendly with, and they've done some things in change management. They've built a framework around how do we help our people live through change, because everything we're doing every day feels like change. Mm-hmm. If you've looked at the regulatory environment, what we do for our clients is changing and changing and changing. And so we're really trying to build a framework where our team feels like they're ready to deal with change, because the people part is usually where things fall apart. So in doing so, as we're building out our framework, we're sharing that out with other firms that we know their people, or they have a change manager involved, and they get together and they talk about what's working and what's challenging and where they've had setbacks and where they're moving forward. And so it's been a really great process to go through to feel like we don't have a scarcity mindset. We have an abundance mindset. There's more work that we can do for the community than we'll ever be able to do, which means if we lift all boats with us, right, that the tide will lift us all up, as opposed to trying to create a competitive advantage that ultimately will take the profession down, right, because we don't have enough people to deliver it. So
does this kind of change, does it entail something like the language that you communicate in and the data systems that you use and you do? Because it seems to me, and I believe in something that I read or heard, that there's a different language that people out in the firms, in the marketplace, think about things and talk about things in a way that might be different than the finance professionals. So do you kind of work with that kind of stuff?
yeah, so definitely in the volunteer space with AICPA and CIMA, there's been lots of conversations about how we as accountants and finance professionals can do more and a better job of communicating within the profession. A lot of us have different roles, we have different responsibilities, but at the end of the day, the foundations and the thought process are very similar, whether you're working for a company, whether you're working for government, whether you're working in academia, or whether you're in a firm serving clients. It tends to be that the foundation with which you're approaching problems, how you solution, how you critically think, those are all skill sets that are universal within the profession. So we have a shared language around that.
I'm with my guest, Lindsay Stevenson, and we'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back with my guest, Lindsay Stevenson. Now, Lindsay, we've talked a lot about CIMA, AICPA, why you're here in terms of business. And yeah, you're at the top of your career right now. There's more to go, and you're really contributing to the betterment of the profession and the people you work with and you work for. But there's another aspect to all of us in our lives, and that is our family.
Yeah.
You've got your wife and a mother. You've got 3 boys, and they're very, very important to you, as they are to all of us, our families. A very busy life with the kind of work that you do, and the traveling. You're here. You've been here for a few days. You've got meetings, I know, after this. Talk a little bit about what the family structure means to you and how they help you to get through all of this, and how do you get the balance?
Yeah, so I have been incredibly lucky. I will say we're maybe a little backward in our family structure, but my husband is a stay-at-home dad. And so he takes care of running the business of our lives. And so everything at home, all the sports running around, all the registrations, all of the making sure that we have vaccines and gone to the doctor and done all those things, my husband manages all of that, which allows me to do things like come to Toronto and hang out with you. And so I've been super, super lucky to have that sort of structure at home. What also is incredible about my husband, he's incredibly gifted, very well educated. He has a master's degree in kinesiology and an undergrad in exercise physiology. So very accomplished himself and could go out into the marketplace and change the world in his own way. But he is probably my biggest cheerleader. And so I've been just very lucky to have somebody like him right beside me and cheering me on and believing in me, even when I don't believe in myself, and set boundaries and I'll live by them. Or you said you weren't going to work, turn it off. And I'm just super grateful for him, because I'm sure I was a workaholic when I was much younger, and I would probably be out of control still if it weren't for him reminding me why taking the time to be with my family matters so much to me. So
It's not a big sport. I mean, you're a product of Washington State, and there's a little basketball team there somewhere.
Yeah.
The old Gonzaga Bulldogs.
Yeah.
I've read where you watch the Bulldogs and you throw stuff at the TV and all kinds of stuff. Tell me about your love for the Bulldogs.
I've gotten better.
You've gotten better.
Only because my husband tells me that he won't watch it with me if I don't stop doing that. But no, it's there's something magical about college sports in general. I feel like there is still such a passion for the game itself, and you can see it in the way the athletes compete. And Gonzaga basketball, if where I grew up, we didn't have a whole lot with universities on our side of the state that were really doing big things. And I was probably maybe sophomore in high school when Gonzaga made their Cinderella run, and it was such a iconic moment for our community, and it became a community-driven thing. So I don't know if I would be a college basketball fan if I hadn't lived through the community really rallying around Gonzaga basketball, and it's still today. I mean, it's crazy the connection point that people feel, and so I ended up going to university there, and that's like a whole other level of fandom that you get into. But it's been such an incredible journey to watch, a small school that really is not on the recruiting. They are now. But they were not able to recruit the 5-star high school kids, before a couple of years ago, and to watch them compete at the highest level
and do very well these
year.
last 2 years.
Yes. I will say we still have not gotten that national championship.
Let me wrap this up by kind of going back to our original theme for all this, and which is CIMA and AICPA and so on. In terms of the connection, and now we have the association, and it's been, 6, 7, 8 years or so. What are some of the advantages, some of the good things that have come out of it? Name one or two of those things. What has come out of all of this?
Well, I think the number one is advocacy. So, as most of your viewers likely know, the regulations drive business and influence business pretty significantly. And so having a global network where we can actively deliver advocacy in different regions that have different geopolitical things happening that are really impactful to business in that region. We have resources now that we can direct there, and we don't have to say, oh, well, we can't really do anything. I guess we didn't have anyone over there. We can have a more global perspective. So I think that's been one. And then the second is most of your viewers, even if they aren't in business or they're just hanging out just as an individual Canadian here, has heard probably a lot of words around ESG, and its sustainability is really becoming a topic of integrating into business and how important that is and what it looks like. And the association is the only accounting body that is at the table with the ISSB. So actually helping to craft what those disclosures look like for businesses around sustainability, really understanding how sustainability impacts both economies, communities, and businesses, and really being a voice there. So it's really that dedication to the public interest is I think, amplified by the association from a global perspective.
Give me a little bit of a report card on our Toronto members here and the association here over the course of your stay. I mean, the hosting and what they do for you.
Gosh. I cannot say enough. The unique thing about CIMA Canada is that they're all volunteer members. So there are no paid CIMA staff members here. And their ability to not only logistically put together something that operates flawlessly. I will tell you, last night went so smoothly. Everything worked beautifully. I knew where to go. Nothing happened weird during the whole time we were together. They hosted a breakfast this morning, all so smooth. And it is astonishing to me that they're able to do that from a volunteer perspective, meaning they all have full-time jobs that they're also managing. So that's one. Two is both CIMA Canada here in Toronto and the city of Toronto are incredibly welcoming. I'm a Midwesterner, so I have a lot of bias toward the kindness of someone you don't know.
No, yes.
And it is like being in the Midwest for me. Like just walking the streets of Toronto and public transportation, everyone smiles, people nod, people hold doors. And that to me is such a meaningful experience because that's a piece of home, right? That's how it is in the Midwest. So,
Lindsay, I want to thank you for taking the time. I mean, it's a very, very hectic schedule for you. And thanks for coming in and sharing your thoughts with us. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. Continued success in everything that you do in your career. And thank you for coming in.
Kenty, thank you so much for having me. It was wonderful.
For the Asian Television Network, I'm Kenty Kent.